Hi, everyone. So I'm going to read another passage that Marie picked out. Everybody wave. Everybody type your waves to Marie so she can see them. But we're in the Oregon Garden now. I mean, it's all around. This has been here. It's in Silverton. It's been here since I graduated high school. It's just this sprawling, it's like staffed nature park. And on the subject of staff, a few readings ago, I mentioned that I grew up, I think the title page reading, I mentioned that I grew up with 3 grandmas, and one of them was biologically related, and she's still alive. She's a member of the staff here. I mean, she's up on the hill somewhere, and like, I didn't want to go hassle her at the greenhouse, like, knock, hey, Granny, get in my video. But so she's an employee here at 94 years old and still, tending the gardens. But the reason we're here, it feels like her work site feels like the perfect venue to read this because it's about nature and gardening. And so I will, and it's a sort of an ode to some, like loved ones. A lot of this book is just veiled Easter eggs and little hidden messages and covert spoilers to come. Anyway, I'm just going to read it. This one's about gardening. It's marked with a zombie. Let's get to it. Sin was smiling the entire time, apparently enjoying the conversation even more than I was. As soon as I paused long enough to permit interruption, she said, "The apothecarist with an answer to everything and nothing." Then it was me doing the smiling. She was referring to Second Botany by Ezrin, second gardener of Lur. It's not a book we formally studied, or even informally. I allude to it on occasion, but we've never discussed it. The copy I own, my mother's antique edition, which has enough marginalia to constitute a second book, isn't even in my library. I store it in the solar, the only room dustier than my cellar. Still, I shouldn't have been surprised that Sin tracked down a rare copy in her spare time and studied it scrupulously. What else would I expect after I briefly, casually, and vaguely mentioned it once or twice? The line Sin quoted comes from a late chapter, The Futility of Vanity in Botany. It begins, quote, "The wise man who memorizes the name of every flower that has ever grown lacks the wisdom to grow any of them." It then goes on to allege the same about apothecarists who have an answer to everything and nothing. "I'll be right back," I said to Sin, and I went to the solar to find the book. It took some searching, but I found it. The first thing I did was fan its pages while inhaling the aroma of an earlier age. Then I returned to the inglenook, flipped open to the penultimate chapter, the study of the second poetry, and read a passage aloud. Quote, "The artist reviles the anatomist, for he sees any examination of the flower's form as a deformation of its beauty. In scouring its anatomy, one strips it of all poetry. But to the gardener, there are 2 poetries. There is that of color, shape, and perfume, and then there is a deeper calligraphy, which chronicles how the flower is born, how it drinks from the rains, how it copes with the night, and how it reasons with the sun." End quote. "Absent any rhyme or rhythm, that remains a wonder far more wonderful," Sin said. It was the next line in the book, which she evidently memorized. Now I was really smiling. Okay, that's it. We're somewhere new, obviously. The garden is so big, there's so many places. I decided to do this little outro somewhere, my hopeful outro somewhere else. So I hope you, wherever you are and live and exist, I hope you find nature around there somewhere. There's a park, there's a yard, there's a garden, there's something where your grandma works. And so you can go find inner peace and grandma time all in one day. But that's it for today.